Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. As you can tell, the setup is completely different. That is because my wife is now joining me for these scary stories.
Woo!
If we want these weekly, I had to bring in somebody who has a better reading skill than I do.
Way better.
It's you. And we get the pugs involved. Look at them.
Puggies!
We get the pugs. As you can tell, that's Morty. This is Fudge. Oh, just poked her eye. Scrappy is right here. He's the corn dog color. And this is Rocco.
Rocky, but
He's our oldest pug.
he's 6.
He's a gentleman. But my wife is now here to join us. I guess in a way, I think this is now going to be called Scary Stories with My Wife.
Yay.
Yay! We are reading a story today by Culture-Flow-9395. The title hooked me like normal. How I choose on what I want to read is based on the titles. And this title is The House at the End of the Road.
Of my road.
The House at the End of My Road is a cosmic-Lovecraftian.
Yeah, cosmic horror.
Cosmic horror. What are
I
your
like
thoughts?
to just get rid of words. Or
What did I
replace
say?
it. Just cosmic.
Cosmic? Oh. I'm pretty excited for the next state of this. I know for a fact doing episodes like this, we'll get these out weekly. I feel like it's nice to have somebody to bounce off of here. Nothing was wrong with how I was doing it before, but I'm just not gonna lie. I needed somebody to bounce off of here, and now I got my wife here and whatnot. Which she's not gonna read the whole thing. We're gonna bounce back and forth. Like I'll read some, then she can read some.
Oh, okay.
You know? Yeah.
Sure.
Or I could be a character, and you could be a character. I don't know. What we got
Okay,
here?
there are some quotes in there.
Yeah. Well, if anything, you could start. We'll just go. But be sure to check out the author. The link to the author will be down below. Go check them out. Show them some love because they have quite a bit of stories on their channel. So there's plenty there to get creeped out on. So be sure to check that out. And wife, shall we? What are they licking?
Yes.
You guys want to hear them lick?
Okay,
Now they're not
gonna
licking,
do.
but
Fudge, you got something to say?
say something, Fudge. That's what I thought.
Oh. Oh, that was a yawn.
Big yawn. Big yawn from Fudge. All right. Let's get into the story. The House at the End of My Road.
All right.
All right.
I'm not going to do this with you.
Oh, read. I need you to read.
There was a house at the end of the road.
Ooh.
No one ever entered. No one ever left. That's how I remember it. I was only a child, maybe 10 or 11. I lived on this typical road with a little field across from the rows of identical brick houses. It looked like any other road in the country, but to me it was home. Number 9 was my house with the white door. It was pretty small, but I was an only child, so I had a whole bedroom to myself. It had been a few years since my Disney princess phase, and the whole room was still a sickening pink. I had stopped inviting friends from school over. Except Jake. He lived across the field, almost opposite, and I'd known him forever. He was this blonde kid, quiet, a bit slow now, I look back on it, but he was always willing to come and play, usually at my house, sometimes at his, occasionally on the field. I wouldn't say I was a tomboy, but I didn't mind getting muddy, not for another year or two anyway. Sometimes we would look at the house at the end of the road, number 23.
Ooh, it's our number. It's our number. That's our number. Guys, if you didn't know, that's our number. Do you want to tell them why?
That's our anniversary.
23. Not Michael Jordan.
No.
Just our year. Not our
He
year.
asked me to be his girlfriend on the 23rd. We got married on the 23rd.
On our 10-year anniversary. We got married on the August 23rd. What do you got to say about that, Rocco? Thanks.
The front garden was overgrown with... What the hell is that word? Rhododendrons? I don't know what that is.
Ooh, hydrants.
No, I don't think that's right either.
Rhododendrons.
Rhododendrons. Anyway.
Photosynthesis.
But in the summer, they would never flower. I always wanted to go look closer, but sometimes it kept us away. Pause. I always wanted to go look closer, but something kept us away from the house. Scrappy's looking at the monitor where we're at. What are you looking at, Scrappy?
We'll go back to reading.
The front garden was overgrown with rhododendrons, but in the summer they would never flower. I always wanted to go look closer, but something kept us away from the house. Maybe it was the door, solid wood, varnished in inky black. Maybe it was the windows, dark curtains always drawn, never any light from the inside. Maybe it was the way the adults reacted. I'd never really asked about it. It had just kind of always been there, a permanent and unchanging fixture of childhood. But as we got older... Thanks, Scrappy. Scrappy!
It's okay. But as we got older, Jake and I started looking at the house more closely, wondering about it. The other house changed. Slowly, long grass got cut, cars changed in driveways, doors got repainted, new windows put in. But the house at the end never changed. It was March when I asked my mom.
When I asked me mom.
It had started raining, so she'd come to pick me up from school in her battered blue car.
Do we have to have an accent now?
No. As I asked her when we drove past, "What's with that house?" She took a few seconds to answer. "What, 21? I think the Sanders still live there." She parked
21?
She parked us outside our house, and I couldn't help but look across the front garden to the overgrown bushes and point. "No, that one, 23. Mom had paused for a second, and her eyes sort of slid right over it. She stood perplexed as if she just forgotten something. And she changed the topic. Fish fingers after tea?
All right for tea?
All right, you go. You're reading now.
It threw me. My mom had always listened to me, even if I was just gossiping about the girls at school or talking about my nonsensical daydreams. She'd never ignored me like that. I tried again over dinner, asking Mom about the overgrown house. "There isn't a 23, sweetie. Do you mean the one around the corner?" I dropped my fork into my beans, frustrated. "No, the one all overgrown with bushes, with the black door. The one where the curtains are always closed." She tilted her head, looking at me sidelong with a smirk.
I'll read the quotes. "Is this like the thing with the fairies?" "No, and I don't believe in fairies."
My mom suppressed a little giggle.
"Not anymore, at least."
I got quite angry and had finished my dinner in a surly silence. I didn't even realize how well she'd deflected my question until later. I'd gone over to Jake's house just before it had gotten dark. I'd say hi to his parents before I'd dash up to his room, where I'd found Jake playing on his PlayStation. For the next half an hour, I'd vented, calling my mom a bunch of words that would have received a smack around the head if I'd said them anywhere near her. Luckily, Jake's parents didn't care about swearing.
It was like she couldn't even see it. She just kind of looked past it.
Jake nodded, the car in his game slamming into the barrier like it did every lap. He never really understood the concept of braking.
"Maybe it's like illegal or something."
I sat up from where I'd been sprawled on his bed. Ben 10 bed.
Ooh,
Nice.
Ben 10 bed. Jake is a legend. What do you mean? Dunno. What if we aren't allowed to talk about it? Maybe someone died there, or it was used by criminals or something. Don't be stupid, Jake. You can't make it illegal to talk about something.
Jake paused his game at last, turning to face me.
My dad said there's words which are illegal.
He looked around guiltily before leaning in and whispering what I knew was a much worse word than any swears. It gave me pause for a moment before I lay back down.
That's not illegal. It's in a lot of old books and stuff. I think you're just got beaten up if you say it at school. But I bet you'll be in a lot of trouble with the teachers. Yeah, but they won't call the police or anything.
Temporarily distracted by the sort of conversation only 11-year-olds can have, my eyes drifted to the window. Across the field and down the street, the house sat, stuck on the end of the road. It wasn't unsettling, it was compelling. I interrupted whatever Jake was saying.
We should go look. What?
I continued.
It's a mystery. We should investigate. We always talk about it.
Jake looked unsure, clutching his controller.
I don't know. What if there's something bad? We could get hurt. And what if it's just a normal house? We'd probably get in a lot of trouble with whoever lives there.
I lay there, bicycling my legs in the air. Anytime Jake objected to something, it only made me want to do it more, if only to make him uncomfortable.
Well, I vote we go. It's just down the road, and we can go and come back in 5 minutes flat. Well, I vote. Boys don't get the vote.
A bit more prodding and pulling got him out of the door. It had stopped raining, and the air smelt fresh and alive as we crossed the field under the darkness of night. It wasn't that cold, and we both had on hoodies anyway. Jake had even put on his arsenal scarf. I felt the need to put my hood up and try to sneak towards the house.
Why are you walking like that? You look like a
Keep going.
Oh, sorry. Scrappy's trying to lick my face.
I love you.
I'm trying to be sneaky.
I said, turning to glare at Jake, something lost in the dark.
Why? I don't know. I just feel like the right thing to do.
The house was ahead. The house that never changed, that no one entered or left. We had made our way nearly to the waist-high iron gate that marked the threshold. The rhododendrons were unshaken by the breeze. The windows, recessed and shadowed, were like the eye sockets of a skull. And something was different about the unchanging house. The door stood ajar.
Ooh.
For an instant, I felt a fluttering in my belly. Not fear, but excitement, adrenaline. I turned and grinned at Jake, who only looked worried.
It's open.
I whispered.
Yeah. Come on. We can have a look inside.
Jake reached for my arm, but I pulled open the gate and stepped into the overgrown garden, forcing him to follow. The gate swung soundlessly on its hinges.
What are you doing?
Jake whispered urgently.
I just want to look, that's all.
I pressed up the path, twisting my torso to avoid disturbing the bushes. Jake finally grabbed my hand and only gave me a weak tug back towards the road before he relented, letting me drag him onwards. And then we were there, stood before the door. I was breathing loudly and realized my heart was thundering in my chest. I felt electric, tingling. Here I was standing where I'd always avoided, on the threshold of the big mystery of my short life. I reached for the slightly ajar door, looking at the dull brass knob. Jake squeezed my other hand hard.
Let's go home. No.
I whispered, matching his barely audible words.
I'm scared. I don't care. Let's just have a look.
I grasped the knob. It was warm to the touch, warmer than expected on a blustery March night. I pushed.
I mean, it's on fire. The doorknob is warm. There's a fire on the other side.
Okay, thanks.
Yep, there you go. Fire safety. Got you guys.
I pushed. Soundlessly, eagerly, the door swung inward, the house exposing itself to us. It was dark inside. Dark, yet not featureless. There was a strange cast into the darkness. It was black, but visible. I could see the stairs on the left, leading upwards. I could see the bare, empty hallway with its solitary rug stretching back into the house, A door at the end, another on the right side, seemingly built to the same plan as mine and Jake's house. That shouldn't be possible, I knew. It was night, it was dark outside, and there was no light inside. I shouldn't be able to see, yet I could. Dragging Jake forward, I whispered in his ear.
Go on, take a look. No way. Ladies first, anyway.
Sorry, my ear itches. I rolled my eyes and tutted, but obliged. Still grasping his hand firmly, I passed into the house. It was very ordinary in looks, but the feeling was off. It was warm, uncomfortably warm. Stepping further into the corridor, looking through the bars of the banisters up to the second floor, I lowered my hood, shaking my hair free. I let go of Jake. Now he was standing beside me. The air was humid, almost thick, and I had to wipe my now sweaty hand on my jeans. The smell as well was out of place. Sweet, cloying, almost fruity, but I didn't recognize it.
Do you think this is kind of like a Monster House situation?
Yeah, maybe.
I could definitely see this being. It's warm. They're inside the mouth. It was ajar because it probably knew they were coming. So it's kind of like the mouth is open. It's kind of like a mouse trap or a fly trap. It's a bit creepy.
I relented. The excitement in my chest had turned to stone and dropped into my guts.
I don't like it. Let's go.
I was still looking up at the second floor landing, the ceiling dark but still perceivable, when Jake let out a whimper like a sad dog. Oh, I accidentally got out of it. Hold on.
Uh-oh.
I turned. The door was gone.
Uh-oh.
All the air rushed out of me in a sort of strangled groan. We rushed back, running our hands over the tepid wall where the door should have been. There was nothing. Just smooth, hard wall. Paint over concrete over brick.
I'm scared,
Jake said, voice a note louder than a whisper.
Me too. What happened?
He said.
I don't know. Maybe this place is haunted.
Jake scoffed, bright panic in his eyes.
Ghosts aren't real. Oh, wait. I thought he was going to say it was scarier. I thought he was a lot scarier than that. I thought he was like, ghosts?
Yuck.
Ghosts aren't real. It must be like a hidden door.
I stood chewing a strand of my hair.
But then my mom thought the house wasn't real.
Jake just looked at me, breathing hard through his mouth.
No.
He said.
It has to be a trap or something. Like at school, when they tell us to stay away from strangers in a van and stuff.
He nodded.
Probably a pedo's house. We're gonna get diddled, Jake. Jake, they're gonna touch my bum.
Jake,
they're gonna touch my bum.
It's your turn.
Oh, do I have a line?
Mm-hmm.
No.
I said.
Have you noticed the lights? What about it?
I stopped, listening, but there was nothing.
There shouldn't be any. It's dark and there's no light and the curtains are closed.
Jake did a double take, looking about, realizing our impossible vision.
How?
He blurted.
It's a house. It wanted us to see it. But it's a house.
I nodded.
A house only we can see that can make the doors disappear.
He just looked at me, painfully.
I really don't want to deal with Harry Potter stuff tonight. We have a French test. We have a French test tomorrow, and I need medicine. I need my medicine. Well, tough luck. We're going to have to look around. Why?
He whined.
To find a way out, obviously. There's still windows, and these doors have to go somewhere.
It took some more hushed arguing before Jake finally moved. He'd unwrapped his scarf, leaving it dangling around his neck. The first door we checked was on the right of the hall. If it was like our houses, it should be the living room. Yet when I pushed it open with its too warm knob, it wasn't the same. It was a longer, narrower room, totally empty, save another door on the right. Cheap linoleum flooring was peeling in a few places, and that sweet smell was more noticeable. But the door on the right should open to a small room with one of the front windows. I strode confidently to the door, grabbing its handle. I was going to throw it open with all the confidence of an 11-year-old who thinks they've just solved the puzzle. The door was stiff this time. as if being pulled from the other side. It took some effort, and when it opened, it came with a rush of hot, rancid air.
Ew, yep, that's the mouth, the throat,
I wonder if they're gonna see the thing that makes it a girl house.
the uvula. It's probably a girl.
So it's a girl house. There was no window, only another hall, just like the one at the front door. This one, though, the stairs on the left went down. It was as fascinating as it was unsettling. For a moment, I was mostly struck by the thought that I'd never seen a real-life basement. It was only really something you saw on American TV in The Simpsons and stuff. But I really didn't feel like I wanted to get closer. There was something really nasty that stirred in my belly when I thought about descending. Maybe it was smell ranked up here to an appalling stench. A quick glance was enough to see that the stairs went really deep, way more than usual. The 2 doors, one at the end of the corridor, one on the right, were perfect duplicates of the ones in the first hall. I pushed back Jake, who was standing way too close behind me.
Back to the stairs. Why?
He asked as I started back to where we started.
Think, idiot. There shouldn't be another hallway. Oh gosh, dang it. Think, idiot. There shouldn't have been another hallway. There should have been the windows there.
Jake looked a little confused as he ran our path in his imagination, then his mouth fell open.
This has to be a dream or something,
was all he could come up with. I slapped him hard. It was pretty cruel, but it gave him a little thrill too.
Ow! What was that for? It hurt.
I asked.
Oh, it hurt? I asked. Yes, of course it did, you bitch. Then obviously this isn't a dream. Everyone knows dreams don't hurt.
We crept back to the first hallway, though we'd already made enough noise to wake the dead. It was the same as before: the stairs, the door at the end, the one on the right. The front door conspicuous only by its absence.
I don't know what to do,
I admitted, pacing in the narrow space in front of our missing escape. Jake was looking paler and scared than before.
I need to get home. I have my injections,
he said. I'd forgotten. Every day at school, he needed to have an injection and a biscuit, or he died. Diabetes or whatever.
Diabetes!
He needed it in the evening too, but usually he did it before he came over to my house. That day, though, I'd gone to his unannounced.
You idiot, why didn't you do it before we left?
His face twisted.
It's your fault. You said we were going to have a look. It's not my fault.
I found myself suddenly angry.
You're the idiot with the weird disease. I mean, that's what I'd be like. You fucking loser.
I thought you liked him because of his Ben 10 bed.
I still like him, but now he's a loser.
Okay. He looked
diabetes, bitch boy.
He looked at me like he wanted to hit me, fists bunched at his sides, tears in his eyes. I didn't give him the chance. I dashed down the hall to the door at the end, where the kitchen would be in mine or Jake's.
Where are you going?
Maybe
there's a back door or something.
In truth, I just didn't want to think about Jake getting sick, as back then I didn't really understand how diabetes works. I threw open the door to the kitchen and froze. It wasn't a kitchen at all, just a small square room. In the center, facing the door, was an old wooden rocking chair.
Ooh.
Creaking as it swayed back and forth.
Uh-oh.
It slowed as I stood there, eyes locked on it. It was as if someone had just left the instant before I opened the door. But that was impossible. There were no other doors, no other furniture to hide behind.
Excuse me, sir. Do you have to do that right by our fucking ears? Hey.
It doesn't bother me.
Well, as long as we can't pick it up on the mic. Yeah, it's moving.
Crappy.
Give me that.
He's gripping it. Make him go down there. No, make him right here.
Come here. Come here.
Put it. Go get it.
She's like, hey, yo, what we got here?
Fudge got it.
She got it. It's hers now.
It's your turn.
What am I reading?
I don't like this.
I don't like this.
I wasn't talking to Jake. It was a quiet admission of true fear for the first time. I was scared. The impossible rooms had meant little to a child, unable to fully grasp the abstract, but now I was greeted by the unwelcome proof of life and the conspicuous disappearance of it. And yet, almost instantaneously, I was hit by the urge, the desire to sit in the chair.
What?
A part of me felt that this was the place to sit and wait. I closed the door, and we returned to the bottom of the stairs. We didn't speak. One glance at each other was enough to tell we were both terrified, but I was never one for inaction. I was chewing my hair again and looking up at the next floor.
Maybe we should go up. Why?
I shrugged. I tried, but I couldn't put it into words. I think some part of my mind equated height with safety, like a drowning man clawing to reach the surface.
I want to go down. Maybe there's a way down to the other stairs.
Jake said. I shook my head. There was no way I was going down. I grabbed the banister with shaking hands and pulled myself upwards, towards the landing. The stairs were steep, slightly steeper than they looked, forcing me to go slowly. One foot, then the other. It was strangely tiring, as if instead of walking up normal stairs, I was climbing over a chest-high wall with each one. It felt like I spent hours climbing, but it could only have been a few seconds. At the top, I was breathing heavily, my thighs ached, and my hands hurt from holding the banister, as if I'd been gripping it as hard as I could. The landing was unpleasant. That sweet, rancid-flavored air, and there was a dull pressure that made my head pound. It was like a bad headache, but it felt like it came from outside my head, pressing on my skull. Despite my heavy breathing, I felt out of breath, and it took a few minutes to subside. Looking around, I could see I was at a crossroads of sort. In front, as well as left and right, were extremely long corridors that each ended in a single door. Behind me was the stairs going back down. And no Jake.
Jake?
I shouted, hoping he was just out of view. But there was no response. And the space where the front door had once been was totally empty. I collapsed to the floor suddenly. The lightheadedness, the pressure, and now Jake's disappearance all hitting at once. I don't know how long I sat there, halfway to utter hysterics. A while later, I think, I was sitting at the top of the stairs, arms around the legs, chin on my knees, rocking back and forth, my cheeks wet and snot crusted over my top lip. I never remembered actually crying, but I must have done. Perhaps the most sensible thing would have been to go downstairs and look for Jake, but the climb had exhausted me, and just like the basement stairs, I felt an overwhelming certainty that I couldn't go down. Instead, I dragged myself to my shaky feet and took the hallway across from the stairs. It was narrow, again the same bare, whitewashed walls that offered the house no personality. It was narrow, but it grew narrower. The door at the end was getting closer, the same size and shape. Yet I had to twist sideways to fit through before the midpoint. Air flowed past me as I squeezed on, the walls of the hall pressing against my chest. The rushing air felt close to climax as the walls tightened further, pressing me so hard my chest hurt and I couldn't breathe. I was panicking by then, desperately pushing, groaning as my own breath was pushed from me. As I was certain my ribs were about to shatter, when I closed my eyes and silently begged for my mum, the wind changed direction. The constrictive hallway, unchanging in appearance, seemed to relax on me, if only slightly. I could move again, squeezing and pushing myself toward the far end. Then I was free of the wall's touch, able to hurry towards the door. The slackening went on with a final sigh, and I could stand and run normally, sprinting nearly straight into the door, grabbing the warm handle with a frantic energy and throwing it wide, hurling myself into the next room without looking. This next room was horrible. I was too young to fully understand, but the sight was haunting.
It is a sex dungeon. There's a witch. This is the witch's house. She does nasty stuff in there.
It was round. Not only the walls, but the ceiling was domed, and the floor curved slightly towards the center. The whole room was covered in small white tiles, save for a rounded, rusted grate in the middle of the floor. But what caught my eye immediately was the rope. Suspended somehow from the ceiling, a dull, normal-looking rope hung, ending in a circular loop.
Uh-oh.
Even as a child, there was something paralyzing about seeing a noose and what it implied. And the room throbbed. Dully, slowly, the walls flexed. The slow rippling matched a sudden change in pressure that I could feel in my ears. Being nearly crushed in the hallway had frightened me to stupidity, my brain just refusing to put together any kind of coherent thought. I could only stand and pant, tasting blood in my mouth. I just watched as the walls shifted rhythmically, stared at the rope twitching gently with the pulsating room. There was a door straight opposite me. It was small, short, like a door to a wardrobe or in a really old building. This one was black, cracked, as if made of charcoal. I looked around the curve of the floor, avoiding the rusty grate and trying to not to touch the twitching rope.
Go.
The walls throbbed at a steady pace, and I didn't want to touch them either. This door's brassy knob was almost too hot to touch, and it opened into a small vertical space. All the walls were paneled with a rich, creamy-looking wood full of knots and striking grain. A spiraling staircase made of thin, delicate black iron twisted impossibly high. The house didn't have a third story, I knew, yet here was stairs reaching way higher than that. It aroused a spark in me, the rooms behind forgotten, as I was faced with yet another mystery. When I was very little, I'd listen constantly to my dad, when he was alive, reading me stories. Jack and the Beanstalk, Charlie and the Great Glass Elevator, hundreds of stories about princesses up towers. I wasn't into princesses anymore, but here was a tower of my own to climb. It compelled me, even to ignore my bruised chest, to forget Jake, and to start up the stairs, but I didn't. I couldn't. Part of the pain in my chest was more than just what the walls had done. Despite my earlier protests, I was very worried about Jake. A big part of my mind told me it was his fault. He was just a stupid boy that did anything I said, and it was his own fault for being a coward and not climbing the stairs.
Yeah, big dummy.
But a quieter voice knew that I was responsible, that I'd dragged a shy, sick kid into this house, that I'd climbed the stairs against his protests without thinking about him at all. I was a stupid, selfish little girl, and here I was in a nightmare alone, and it was my fault. The realization, along with the fear that had been growing since I first entered, brought back the tears. I stood at the foot of the dainty staircase, weeping pathetically, wiping at my eyes with the back of my hands. Eventually, the tears stopped coming. I was breathless, gasping, throat sore, at the bottom of that impossible, delicate staircase. I looked up to where the spindly metalwork reached an impossible landing far above. It wasn't alone. Several times, at various heights, the staircase branched out like a spider's web, reaching to other doorways set in the tower. Staring up at me made me slightly dizzy and a little nauseous, but there was something quite beautiful about it.
Beautiful.
Beautiful.
Wow. Honestly, this is pretty interesting. I mean, do you still think it's like a house that's like eating them, or
No.
what do you think? It's just a maze house?
Yeah, it's like Inception.
Mm.
You know what I mean? Like, I don't know, not really.
I was gonna say No End House, which is kind of like the same thing. It's a really good story as well, but it's just a house. Anyway, it's very interesting to see where this tower is gonna lead exactly. Water, it's right here. Jake is either gone or what?
Drinking all my water.
Not all of it. Where do you think Jake's at?
I wonder if he did follow her, but it's taking them in different things based on what is like they've been going through.
True.
You know what I mean?
I do wonder if he went to the basement because she hasn't gone to the basement.
Yeah, but I feel like he would have followed her.
Yeah.
You know, he's been following her this whole time, even if he didn't want to.
Yeah.
But like when he went up, he's experiencing something different.
Probably. It's kind of like, yeah. So it's a different doorway that he entered, pretty much.
Path.
Yeah.
Yeah. I grasped the thin iron guardrail naked up beside the house, gasping aloud at how cold it was. Then I was climbing, circling up and up and up. All around me, the grain of the wood, the knots and flowing lines shifted. They contracted and expanding, pushing and squeezing their mass in riding organic movements. They shivered and spasms ran through them at times, running from the bottom up and out of sight. As I climbed, my breathing grew labored again, but this time it also grew colder, a lot colder. I could see my breath misting before me in the transparent dark. The iron under my hand was so bad I had to pull my sleeves over my hands, and my nose and ears stung. There must have been a dozen stories I passed, each one floored with a web of black iron, a ring of doors all kinds of colors and shapes, each with a simple brass doorknob. I didn't stop. In the stories, they never stop part way up the tower and decide that's far enough. I wasn't scared of heights, even though I was tired and drained and my throat hurt. My legs forced themselves to keep going, to take step after step, circling endlessly amongst writhing wood and cold iron. Eventually, when I felt utterly freezing and there wasn't any weird sweet smell anymore, I reached that impossible top landing. There was only one spidery, narrow path here, hundreds of meters above the pulsating noose chamber. It led straight across to a round, deeply recessed door. I walked towards it, feet dragging as the cold iron made weird creaking noises and ice fell from it. The door was gray, and reaching out it was soft and taut. It was like touching a drum with a slightly loose skin.
Yeah.
My hand clasped the brass knob, the heat feeling almost scalding in comparison to the cold air. But I bit my lip and twisted, opened the door and stepping through. It was a cold room, the size of a warehouse. Bare brick walls, floor hidden beneath a curling mist. Metal chains and hooks bigger than I was dangled from the rafters, shifting and tapping in a non-existent breeze. And there were screens. Everywhere sitting in stacks, against the walls, piled on one another. TVs, new flat screens, big old square ones, tiny ones built into radios, ancient black and white ones framed in wood, huge ones taken straight from a mansion. There were monitors and laptops, even projectors, the huge cinema kinds, and a little white boxy ones they used at school. 100,000 screens were fitted in that cold, foreboding place at the top of the impossible tower. And on all of them was me.
What? Do you think this is the house, like, in a way of, like, whoever's in there?
You're on Morty! Or Rocky. You're on Rocky. Really?
Do you think based on whoever would be in the house is, like, what they would see? Or do you think this is actually, like, involving around our main character here because the door was wide open for them to come in, knowing...
Quit yawning.
I'm sorry. Knowing that they would be showing up at the house eventually.
I think it's based on her.
Okay.
I don't know.
Like, just because she's in the house or in general?
In general.
Ooh. All right.
But Jake can see it too, so maybe it's just for little kids.
I miss Jake. I hope he's not gone too long.
Like a family photo album made a nightmare. Everywhere my eyes searched were photos of myself. It was sickening, terrifying, and I almost started crying again. There was my 6th birthday, where I'd insisted only I could dress as a princess and got in a fight with a girl named Charlotte. That was me at my dad's funeral, crying as they carried his coffin. I was only 8 in that one. And there was me last week, playing football with Jake and a few local kids on the field just across from the house. Hundreds, thousands. Me at almost every age and every place I'd ever been. There was a school trip to Portchester Castle last year. There was me with my mom when we went to London last Christmas. There was me sleeping, me getting changed for PE, photos of me in the shower, me sat on the toilet.
Whoa.
Those ones, of me at my most vulnerable, should have been sickening. But for a child, the whole thing was beyond imagining, beyond understanding. The house had wanted me, for years, for my whole life. It had needed me inside it. It called to me, sitting there at the end of the road, unseen or ignored by adults. My mother hadn't willingly ignored me. She just blocked the whole thing from her mind. If she refused to see it, to acknowledge it, then clearly it wasn't happening. If she refused to believe it, then she wasn't responsible. And now, there I was. Whatever it was, building or nightmare or creature, it completed something at that moment, reaching some sort of climax.
Whoa.
I fell as the floor jerked underfoot, the
Whoa.
whole room and its walls undulating and tensing, only to relax instantly as screens and monitors crashed down around me, chains and hooks rattling. What TVs weren't destroyed now just showed static. It was done with me. On some level, it had stripped me of my innocence, and that had satisfied it. I understood what...
Maybe it is like a little house. Like it's got to, like you said, strip you of everything before it finally takes your soul type of thing. It's scary.
Yeah.
I hope Jake comes back.
I understood none of this. I just rushed to my feet and went for the door, thinking this must be an earthquake or something. I threw open the taut skin door and was surprised by what I found.
Jake?
The once impossibly tall tower had shrunk, becoming flaccid, and now I was only 3 turns of the staircase from the door to the hanging room. I raced down, throwing myself through the door, not caring if I stepped on the grate or touched the noose. I hurled through the white, rounded room, now beating only faintly, restfully. How did her dad die?
Did it say?
No.
He died.
Yeah. I wonder if it had something to do with that noose.
With his house? Oh, do you think he hung himself?
Yeah.
Ooh.
This is all like stuff about her.
Yeah, the dad definitely.
You think so?
He probably went a swinging.
Yeah.
He done took his own life. Got that good old suey.
Hanged.
If you're having trouble, reach out. There you go.
This is just a theory. We don't know if this actually happened.
I honestly would not be surprised if he did commit the suey. And
Yeah, I wonder if it was like, I wonder if she found him
probably
and she blocked it out of her mind.
She didn't understand it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I miss Jake.
I hurtled through the white rounded room, now beating only faintly, restfully. Then was the corridor. I paused, scared. It had nearly crushed me to death last time. This time I stood and watched and could see its contractions. Slow, very slow, but rhythmic, steady, predictable. It was easy to slip through as it was widening before it could close again. That brought me to the stairs. On the way up, they had felt like climbing a mountain, but now I knew it wouldn't be anywhere near as hard.
Hello?
The voice was thick with terror and pleading, but I knew it.
Jake! Jake, you're alive!
My heart did something weird then.
Ooh.
It was flooded. It was flooded with relief, giving me the strength to pound down the stairs and over to the right door where the voice was coming from. But as soon as the relief hit, anger came with it. If Jake was fine, then I had feeling guilty for nothing, and that meant Jake hurt me by making me feel guilty.
Oh my god.
What a girl thing to do.
What a bitch.
So it was that I stormed through the next door into the reeking basement entrance, ready to slap the shit out of Jake and use all the worst swear words I knew.
Is that you?
He said. I froze.
Please. It hurts. I'm so scared.
Oh no. He reeked of puke.
Oh no.
His clothes were all slimy, and he clearly dragged himself out of the basement.
He was in the basement.
I wonder if maybe he went up the stairs, but it took him to the basement.
Probably.
You know, in like a weird way.
Or he got backwards.
Or maybe he was finally like, fuck you, you're wrong, I'm going to the basement.
That's probably what happened. His diabetes ass went down there and yeah.
Yeah. He looked around with bloody, leaking pits where his eyes should be.
What?
All his skin was red and blistered, and blood oozed from everywhere.
Oh no, please. I know it's you. I heard you. I I can't see.
He reached around blindly with fingers that ended in bloody stumps.
Oh my gosh.
I was at his side in an instant, feeling sick, the tears coming back again. I grabbed his slimy jacket, ignoring the stinging slipperiness of it, and started pulling him towards where the entrance had been.
What happened?
I said, choking and hiccuping as the tears welled.
I thought I could get out through the basement.
I got him through the first door, his legs kicking endlessly.
But then the stairs, they stopped and got smooth. Oh, shit. I fell for ages, and then I landed somewhere wet, and it burned.
Toxic waste.
Toxic waste.
My own hands were burning as I pulled him around the next corner into the entrance corridor.
I hurt so much, and then I couldn't see. I thought I was going to die. I just started grabbing at the walls and started climbing.
I could see it. The door, black varnished and so normal looking, was there. Now that I'd brought the house to its release, it was letting me leave. The door swung open to show overgrown rhododendrons and the field still late at night. The house was at last finished with me, but clearly not with Jake.
Oh no.
There was tension on his side suddenly. I slipped and fell. Looking back, I could see the rug was tangled around Jake's legs, tight enough to hurt as he started moaning louder. I rushed over to grab him, but he was too slimy and I couldn't get a good hold. Then the ceiling started moving, lowering like some great piston.
Oh my gosh.
Slowly but inevitably, a wedge-like block of it coming down to close just on him. I came down on him, just below his shoulders. I grabbed him by the scarf still around his neck, the only place I could. I pulled, but the house pulled back harder. I braced my leg against the closing ceiling, desperately tugging as Jake started to scream, as he started to be crushed.
Oh no.
His screaming seemed loud enough to wake the whole street when suddenly it stopped. I went flying back. Backstepping, then falling, down the corridor and through the door. I landed on my back with my leg now burning with pain. Something round and blonde and leaking rolled into the bushes. I was left gasping in pain, holding a bloody arsenal scarf, looking at a closed black door. Fear and adrenaline and pain battled inside me. My leg was a twisted mess. There was no sign of Jake, and I was bleeding heavily through my jeans. My palms were raw and oozing. I don't really remember the rest. I think I crawled, or maybe I stood up and limped. Either way, after I lost consciousness, someone found me on the side of the road, then called an ambulance. Apparently, that woke the street, and my mom was there by the time it arrived. My next memory was waking up in the hospital a few days later. I had actually woken a few times before that, but I'd been on so much morphine, it was just a blur of white ceilings and disjointed memories. Then came the questions. No one believed me. My mother sat by my side, spoke over me. She claimed I'd never had a friend called Jake. What?
Wait, what?
There was no number 23, that I'd never talked about a mysterious house with a black door that never changed. And who would doctors and child psychologists believe? A drugged-up 11-year-old with an insane story? Or my calm, smiling mother, just happy her daughter wasn't too hurt? Jake isn't real?
I mean, she did say,
But he came over.
well, did he come over? No, did she come over?
No, he would come over.
Well, then he came over unannounced. So then in a way, it could have been like an imaginary friend of like, we're going to the house. It's like, oh, why? I don't want to go.
He has random diabetes. And
You
there was a
know,
picture with him and her and some kids playing.
What if the house took that memory out of the world? It took something from her life or something?
Maybe.
But no, not Jake.
I spent a few weeks in hospital, having my leg pinned and sewn back together. I hated it. The doctors and counselors and all the other experts were awful. I hated their fake, pitiful smiles. I was disgusted by their patronizing smugness. Some pretended to buy into my story, only to give me a sickening fake smile and tell me not to worry and that there was a sensible explanation. Eventually, I was released, with nothing but a pair of crutches and an alprazolam prescription to help me with my active imagination. By the time I was out, Jake's house was empty of life and furniture. a for sale sign hammered into the front garden. My mom maintained for a few years, then we had an argued at dinner. I'd ran away and been hit by a car.
Oh my God. Okay, I'll let you finish that, Waken.
Once I was older, she just refused to talk about it. What the hell? At school, once I went back, it became obvious what had happened. Scrappy. The other kids, even that cow Charlotte, talked in hushed whispers about how we missed Jake. If any teachers overheard anyone discussing it, they'd be suspended and told to stop spreading lies, or our parents would be involved. It's been nearly 20 years. I've been through school, university, moved half a dozen times. My mom still denies it on the rare occasion I talk to her. As soon as I bring up Jake's name, looking for a missing persons report, the police hang up.
I wonder why that is.
Yeah. The world likes to pretend that bad things don't happen to children. Maybe they know about the house.
It could have been. I mean, there was a
Like a
thing at the
sacrifice
beginning.
thing?
I'll let you finish so that way before I say my part.
They like to think that they're all kept safe. That would be nice. But I know that when bad things happen, no one wants to take accountability. The adults, the teachers, even the police. They'd rather bury their heads in the sand and pretend it's not happening. But I know what really happened, because all these years later, at the back of my wardrobe is a box with an Arsenal scarf in it, stained a mottled brown.
Oh, that's it?
Yep.
That is the end. Okay, what I was going to say was at the beginning, she, I believe, our main character here, said something about like how there's always new houses for sale, like new cars, new windows. So maybe the house in the neighborhood just slowly erases children or some shit like that.
I don't remember that.
Well, that was a very interesting story, my friend. I enjoyed that. That was pretty fun. Yeah, fucking poor Jake. He is dunzo.
Yeah, that's sad.
It's interesting the choice of just out of nowhere.
Or Cooper.
Or
Jake used the noose. And that's how he
no,
died.
I like the dad is the one that did it.
Yeah.
I liked that theory. I did think it was hilarious how argument with the mom. All right, yeah, I'll show you. Runs away, gets hit by a car.
Yeah, that was random.
Let's go to the comment here. Spine tingling pros OP. Thank you for sharing. Yeah, honestly, yeah. Go check out. Be sure to check this one out. Check out this author, Culture Flow, 9395. Link to their Reddit page is in the description below. They got plenty of stories actually. Check it out. My husband is not the man I married. Have you ever heard of the Sankabutsu? Oh my God. Me and my buddy's Christmas trip took a turn for the worst. Go check them out. Honestly, I don't think you will be disappointed. From that one story we read, banger. Not gonna lie. Comment down below your guys' thoughts on this story and let me know what you guys think of having the wife join. Scary stories with the wife.
Yep.
A lot of fun and pugs.
And pugs. Thank you.
Oh, Scrappy. All right. Thank you guys for watching. Thanks for hanging out. We'll see you in the next one.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. I need to go to bed.